Buckle up, aspiring Martians, because in this eye-opening video, we're about to unveil the gritty truth about your future voyage to the Red Planet. Forget about luxurious space hotels and glamorous spacewalks. We're diving headfirst into the uncomfortable realities that will test your mettle on the long and arduous journey to Mars. Get ready to discover the mind-bending challenges that await you, from bone-crushing gravity to claustrophobic living quarters, as we strip away the romanticized notions of space travel and expose the gritty, uncomfortable truth. So fasten your seatbelts and prepare to face the discomfort, because this journey to the stars is far from a first-class luxury cruise. It's a gutsy, gritty adventure like no other. Rapid advances in space exploration, combined with doom and gloom happening in the news, are causing more people than ever to turn a romantic eye to the stars. In addition, the European Space Agency, many private ventures, Russia, India, China, and Japan are also in the planning stages to send humans to the fourth planet from the Sun. Here are 10 reasons why your Mars trip will be uncomfortable. 1. Loneliness. Far from a slight inconvenience, severe loneliness can cause serious health problems. Even if Mars becomes fairly well populated with travelers, eventually there is little chance that it will replicate the closely linked communities and societies that have been built for centuries on Earth. To combat the darker effects of having fewer humans with whom to interact, travelers to Mars might do things like have conversations with robots and engage in complex individual activities. 2. Loss of muscle mass. If you've seen footage of astronauts aboard the International Space Station, you may have noticed that they spend quite a lot of time exercising on stationary bikes and other equipment. They do this because a change in gravity has a massive impact on the body's muscular structure. As residents of Earth, we hardly notice the work done by our anti-gravity muscles, namely the quadriceps and the muscles in the calves, neck, and back too. But without the daily pressure of gravity on those body parts, the loss of ability would become quickly apparent. 3. Depleted oxygen. There are several ways to create oxygen from other materials during space travel and planet habitation. However, the levels on a planet like Mars will not be able to match the oxygen available on Earth for quite some time. Your body needs oxygen for almost all its life functions, from breathing to digestion to cell division and growth. In the future, solid oxide electrolysis may be used to extract oxygen from the carbon dioxide that makes up 95% of Mars' atmosphere. 4. Extreme temperatures. The atmosphere on Mars is so thin that it's almost impossible for the planet to retain heat. The planet's average temperature is minus 62 degrees Celsius, minus 81 degrees Fahrenheit. 4. In case it wasn't already clear, that's cold. If you thought that forgetting to pack mittens for your ski trip was unpleasant, just wait until you find yourself shivering on a stark, distant planet with no department stores from which to buy throw blankets. 5. Incredibly long travel time. Talk about a never-ending road trip. While probes can get to Mars in no time, actually sending humans to Mars will take much longer. Even the shorter proposals, which would take extremely high amounts of energy to achieve, could take 400 or 500 days. Better pack some extra snacks. 6. Radiation. First, you will be pelted with radiation on the way to Mars. Then, for the entire time that you live there, you will have to take constant precautions to avoid increased exposure. Assuming you decide to come home again, your radiation exposure will continue back. Both galactic cosmic rays, GCR, and solar energetic particles, SEP, can cause irreversible damage to the human body. Just being on the Red Planet exposes astronauts to more than 100 times the radiation that they would be subjected to on Earth, and the rides there and back are even riskier. 7. Claustrophobia. Before even selecting a crew, NASA and other spaceflight organizations test people for extreme claustrophobia. According to astronaut Chris Hadfield, the tests for him were enjoyable, including one where you are strapped into a small black bag and not told when you will be let out. 7. Hadfield said that being zipped inside a small, dark place for an indeterminate amount of time was just a great opportunity and nice time to think and maybe have a little nap and relax. For most of us, that would be a much more unpleasant experience. 8. Hostile life forms. There is a reason that astronauts have been carrying weapons with them into space for decades, just in case. These have included the orbital survival knives of the 1960s, machetes, and even machete guns and pistols. While the larger claim is that astronauts could encounter survival situations on their return to Earth by landing on unsafe terrain or in hostile territory, the second cause is stated far less often. Although no solid proof of sentient life has been found yet, the existence of extraterrestrial microorganisms is all but guaranteed based on fossilized evidence. Also, the probability that other life forms exist is so high that it's almost undeniable. 9. Deformed eyes and vision loss. NASA began asking astronauts about their vision after space travel around 1989. Whenever an astronaut returned home, researchers would try to determine if their distance and near vision were in any way impaired. What they learned was shocking at first. Many astronauts seemed to have much more difficulty seeing than they had experienced before leaving Earth. NASA decided that they needed to investigate much more systematically. They started performing more detailed tests, including indirect binocular ophthalmoscopy, a way to view the back of the eye through the retina, cycloplegic refraction, a way to rule out different problem areas by relaxing other areas with eye drops, and dilated fundus examinations, which gives a clear view of the eye by dilating pupils with eye drops. 10. Space madness. Before humans took to the stars, scientists worried that travelers in space would eventually become impulsive, suicidal, sexually aberrant thrill seekers. They thought that being trapped in small spaces and devoid of modern comforts would make spacefarers snap. In actuality, the first professional astronauts were steely, calm, and even courageous in life-threatening situations. Since many of the darkest fears of the day were eventually disproved, the idea of space madness became a bit of an urban legend. Still, there were occasional examples of people who could not handle the pressures of space. Some people exhibited strange behaviors after their brief travels outside the atmosphere. As we conclude this eye-opening expedition into the uncomfortable realities of a journey to Mars, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the road to the red planet is paved with challenges that test the very limits of human endurance. From the bone-jarring acceleration to the relentless isolation, from the claustrophobic confines of the spacecraft to the unyielding cosmic radiation, a trip to Mars is an uncomfortable odyssey like no other. Yet, it is within the discomfort that our spirit of exploration burns brightest. If you found our video informative, kindly subscribe to our channel so you won't miss out on our videos.